Times. Joining us now to go in depth, Harvard law professor and Newsmax blogger Alan Dershowitz. Alan, of course, also the author of the book Terror Tunnels, the case for Israel's just war against Hamas. Alan, we appreciate the fact you're Skyping in this morning from Miami. Take us back to that heated exchange with Larry O'Donnell last Thursday night and reiterate the point you were trying to make.
Well, the point I'm making is that France has one of the worst records of fighting terrorism, particularly when it's terrorism that doesn't affect its own people. For years and years, France played footsie with Middle East terrorists. As long as they didn't come to France, their idea was to export terrorism. And of course, the end result is they imported it. You either have to fight all terrorism or you're not going to be successful in fighting any terrorism. And the French have been, their foreign policy has been extraordinarily hypocritical, extraordinarily selfish, and it was proved yesterday. This is reported in Israeli newspapers that Hollande, the president of France, tried to get Benjamin Netanyahu not to come to the Unity event yesterday, because it would shift the focus away from France to terrorism in general around the Middle East. Now, you don't tell Bibi Netanyahu what to do, and he showed up. But apparently, according to the Israeli press, over the strong opposition of the French president, who wanted to keep this a French incident, a French event, a French unity event. The French are wonderful at protecting themselves and their own people, but they're not so good at sharing the burden when it comes to stopping terrorism in other parts of the world.
Well, Alan, you mentioned Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu showing up to that event. So did Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas. He was also in attendance. What was your reaction to seeing the two of them there together?
Well, some positive. Anything that can bring the Palestinians and the Israelis together is a good thing, but the moral equation is horrible. The Palestinians are where they are because of terrorism. They essentially invented terrorism as a foreign policy, and Abbas was part of that with Arafat. I mean, the murder of the Israeli athletes, the hijacking of planes. You know, Benjamin Netanyahu's brother was killed trying to rescue French hostages from an Air France that was kidnapped by a radical Islamic terrorist. So, you know, hypocrisy is just rampant in France. I would hope that this tragic event, and I feel sorry, obviously, for the victims, whether they were Christians, Muslims, or Jews, but I hope this brings people together and finally makes them realize you can't tolerate some terrorism and expect to fight other terrorism. It's a unified concept.
Alan, about 4 minutes remain in the time for our conversation. I'm curious your perception of the criticism of the Obama administration, because the vice president, the president, the secretary of state were not in Paris. Our attorney general was there, but not at the march and the unity rally. Are you concerned that we didn't have a stronger presence there at that French unity rally?
I don't understand it. It sounds like what the French general once said: it was worse than immoral, it was a blunder. It sounds like it was a blunder. It sounds like there was no ill intent. Just, you know, Kerry was in India, the president was here, maybe the attorney general was doing other things. It certainly turned out to be a blunder. I just don't understand. This is a smart group of people. You would think at the very least they would send the vice president, but they didn't do that, and there's been a lot of reaction, mostly in the United States, but a lot of criticism.
Do you think security was a factor?
Well, of course it was a factor. If you saw Benjamin Netanyahu, he was looking around quite nervously. This was a highly risky security event. Fortunately, thank goodness, it turned out to be safe, but just all you needed was one suicide bomber with a backpack in the middle of the crowd. And with that many people, it would have caused a riot and trampling. So I can understand the security concerns, but when you get elected to high office in any country, you have to put the security concerns second, and you have to put the national interest first.
About 2.5 minutes remain, Alan. Harvey Weinstein, the authored an article that appeared on our parent website, Newsmax.com. Mr. Weinstein says the French attacks of last week parallel the Nazi horrors of World War II or pre-World War II. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, Harvey's a friend of mine, but I don't. I think that overstates it. Look, 17 people were killed. 2,000 people were killed by Boko Haram just this week, a 10-year-old suicide bomber. We do tend to value European, American lives more than we do the lives of other people. No, this was not Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany was, the powerful country of Germany. These are a bunch of thugs and terrorists that pose no general national security threat to the existence of our country. This is not a prelude to the Holocaust. It's serious enough, but probably it shouldn't be overstated.
In the 30 seconds remain, Alan, we understand that a lot of French Jews have left the country, are talking about leaving. Prime Minister Netanyahu says they're welcome in Israel. Do you believe France is a hotbed of anti-Semitism?
Well, it's no question that it is. The number of anti-Semitic incidents have gone up tremendously. If anybody ever doubted the need for there to be one Jewish state in the world whose arms are always open to Jews or anyone else who seeks asylum from repression and discrimination, the events in France prove that. I hope that Jews will continue to live anywhere they want in the world, freely and safely, but those who want to go to Israel should always be welcome there, along with other people who are seeking asylum from tyranny and terrorism anywhere in the world.
Your concerns about anti-Semitism, got an extra 30 seconds we carved out here. Will this become a punctuation point? Will France pause and reflect on previous behavior, or do you see people returning to the same kind of thought patterns? 30 seconds, sir.
I think there's a good possibility that there will be some rethinking. The fact that a Muslim man saved 15 Jews, that was a great, great event. I think this promises potentially to bring people together in the fight against terrorism, Muslims, Jews, Christians, atheists, and agnostics. I hope that happens.
And on that hopeful note, Alan Dershowitz, we thank you for your time. America's Forum will continue following this Newsmax Now update.